Liam Harrison stood at the window of his quarters, looking out at the artificial rings that encircled Centralus Prime. The planet glowed with a blue-green light that reminded him of Earth's oceans. After 5 years as humanity's ambassador to the Galactic Council, he still found the view breathtaking. Shame it would likely be the last time he saw it. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Amanda Wright entered, her face tight with worry. She carried a data tablet, clutching it like it contained secrets that could start a war. In a way, it did. They'd scheduled the vote for tomorrow, she said. The resolution to restrict human expansion will pass. We don't have enough allies to block it. Liam turned from the window. And the other matter? Amanda handed him the tablet. Director Blackwood's team confirmed it. The Council has been systematically blocking our technological patents for decades. The safety concerns were fabricated. Liam scrolled through the data, his jaw tightening. Hundreds of human innovations, medical treatments, propulsion systems, energy solutions, all buried under mountains of Council regulations, each one marked as potentially destabilizing to galactic harmony. 75 years, Liam said quietly. We've been members for 75 years, and they've been lying to us the entire time. What do we do? Amanda asked. President Castillo is waiting for your recommendation. Liam set the tablet down. We do what they fear most. We leave. The council chamber was a massive dome with seats arranged in rising tiers. High Elder Zixnar of the Zenthian Dominion presided from the central platform, his 4 eyes blinking in their typical pattern of disdain. Around him, representatives from 27 spacefaring civilizations murmured among themselves. Liam and Amanda took their seats in the human section. Grand Minister Thalka from the Northern Confederacy nodded to them from across the chamber. At least one ally remained. This council will now vote on Resolution 3429B, Zixnar announced. His translator converted his chittering language into the standard galactic tongue. The measure to establish reasonable limitations on human expansion and technological development in the interest of galactic stability. Liam watched as the voting proceeded. The outcome was never in doubt. By a margin of 21-6, the resolution passed. The resolution is adopted, Zixnar said, all 4 eyes fixed on the human delegation. Ambassador Harrison, your species will comply with these new regulations. Liam stood. This wasn't how council sessions usually proceeded, but nothing about today would be usual. High Elder, I request permission to address the council. Zixnar's upper eyes narrowed. Granted, but briefly. The agenda is full. Liam walked to the central speaking platform. He could feel the weight of every alien gaze upon him. For 75 years, humanity has been a loyal member of this council. We have abided by your rules, contributed resources to your projects, and defended your borders. And how have you repaid us? He held up his data tablet, projecting its contents onto the chamber's main display. Gasps and murmurs filled the room. With lies, with sabotage, with systematic suppression of our achievements. You fear us not because we are dangerous, but because we might one day surpass you. Zixnar rose from his seat. This is outrageous. Remove these unauthorized. No, Liam's voice cut through the chamber. You will hear this. By authority granted to me by President Castillo and the United Earth Government, I hereby announce humanity's immediate withdrawal from the Galactic Council. All human personnel, ships, and resources will be removed from Council space within 30 days. The chamber erupted. Some delegates shouted in anger, others in shock. A few simply watched in silence. Zixnar's voice eventually restored order. Ambassador Harrison, this emotional display only proves why humans require guidance. Your species lacks the maturity for true galactic citizenship. Liam smiled coldly. We'll see about that. As he and Amanda left the chamber, Grand Minister Thalka intercepted them in the corridor. Ambassador, the Norvan's crystalline voice was low. You have made powerful enemies today. The Council will not let humans simply walk away. We're counting on that, Liam replied. Falca glanced around nervously. There are things you don't know. Dangers approaching from beyond Council space. That's the real reason they fear human potential. You may need friends in the days ahead. Are you offering? Amanda asked. The Norvan's faceted eyes gleamed. Let's just say not all Council members share the Elder's views. Be careful, Ambassador Harrison. The universe is about to change. Liam nodded. That's exactly what we're counting on. President Olivia Castillo stood at the center of Earth Central Command's war room. Screens covered the walls, showing the locations of every human ship across the galaxy. Many were already moving, blue dots flowing back toward Earth's space like a retreating tide. How long until all our people are home? She asked. Admiral John Hayes studied the largest display. Most civilian transports will be back within 2 weeks. Military vessels will take the full 30 days. Some of our deep research stations might need more time. They don't get more time, President Castillo said firmly. The Council will be looking for any excuse to claim we violated the withdrawal agreement. Director William Blackwood entered the room, carrying reports. His usually calm face showed rare concern. Madam President, our agents report increased military activity at every Council outpost bordering our space. They're not just watching us leave. They're preparing for something. President Castillo wasn't surprised. They always feared us. Now they fear us even more. Perhaps this is the perfect time to show them why, said a new voice. Dr. Samantha Nash walked in, looking tired but excited. Her lab coat was wrinkled from days of work without proper rest. I've completed the tests on the new drive system, she said. It works even better than we predicted. She connected her tablet to the main display. A simulation appeared, showing a ship moving through space in ways that defied conventional physics. The quantum displacement drive creates a field that lets our ships move through higher dimensions, Dr. Nash explained. It's faster than any Council FTL system by a factor of at least 6. Admiral Hayes stared at the simulation, and they have no way to track it. None, Dr. Nash confirmed. Their sensors can't detect ships using this drive. They'll have no idea where we are or where we're going. President Castillo smiled for the first time in days. How soon can we install it in our ships? The production facilities in the asteroid belt are already running, Dr. Nash said. We can have the battle fleet upgraded within 3 weeks. Director Blackwood raised an eyebrow. You began production before approval. Dr. Nash shrugged. I trusted the President would make the right decision. President Castillo walked to the main display and enlarged the map of human space. It was small compared to the vast territories of the Council, but it was theirs. Begin Operation Firewall, she ordered. I want defense stations at every approach to our territory. Sensor grids, automated defenses, everything we've kept hidden from Council inspectors. The Council will see this as aggression, Admiral Hayes warned. No, President Castillo said. They'll see it as confirmation of what they always believed, that humans are dangerous. Let them see our defenses. It might make them think twice about testing them. She turned to Dr. Nash. How about your other project? The communication system. Ready for deployment, Dr. Nash answered. Once active, it will create a quantum-entangled network that can't be intercepted or jammed by Council technology. Good, President Castillo nodded. Begin installation immediately. As the others left to carry out their orders, Director Blackwood stayed behind. Madam President, there's something else. Our long-range probes detected unusual energy signatures from beyond the Council's borders. In regions they've declared off-limits. He showed her the data, strange patterns of radiation and gravity that matched nothing in human or Council records. What do you think it is? She asked. I don't know, he admitted, but the Council must know. It might explain why they've been so determined to control our expansion. President Castillo studied the readings. Deploy additional stealth probes to those regions. If there's something out there the Council fears, we need to know about it. And if they catch us looking? We're not part of the Council anymore, she reminded him. Their rules no longer apply to us. As Blackwood left, President Castillo returned to the map. Humanity's territory looked small and vulnerable, surrounded by the vast Council space, but appearances could be deceiving. Let's show them what humanity can really do, she whispered to herself. Deep Space Monitoring Station Horizon floated silently at the edge of human territory. From here, the stars of the Milky Way stretched out like a glittering river against the darkness. Commander Eric Sullivan often found himself staring at the view during his off hours. Today, however, his attention was fixed on the strange readings appearing on the station's long-range sensors. "Are you sure it's not a malfunction?" he asked. Lieutenant Megan Daniels shook her head. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls, running another diagnostic. "All systems are functioning perfectly," she said. "These signals are real. And they're coming from outside Council space." Science Officer Paul Jenkins leaned closer to the display. "The pattern is too regular to be natural. It's definitely artificial. And definitely not Council technology," Commander Sullivan added. "Their signals all carry authentication codes. This has none." "Should we report it to Earth Command?" Lieutenant Daniels asked. Commander Sullivan considered this. "Not yet. Let's try to learn more first. Can we send a response using the same pattern?" "I think so," Lieutenant Daniels said. She began programming the communication array. For 3 hours, they worked to establish contact, sending simple mathematical sequences, following the pattern of the mysterious signal. Then suddenly, the station's screens flickered. A new signal, much stronger than before, flooded their receivers. "We're being scanned," Jenkins reported. Some kind of energy beam just swept through the station. Before anyone could respond, all the screens changed. Strange symbols appeared, slowly transforming into human letters. "They're adapting to our language," Jenkins whispered in amazement. A message formed. "We AAVFOUNDU, you AAVLEFT the cage. We will come." "Is that a threat?" Lieutenant Daniels asked nervously. Commander Sullivan didn't answer. He was too busy staring at the new readings. A massive distortion in space had appeared just beyond their sensor range. "Something's coming through," he said. "Alert status. Now." The station's lights dimmed as emergency power redirected to the shields, but no attack came. Instead, a ship emerged from the distortion. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. Not smooth and elegant like Council vessels, but rough and angular, covered in strange protrusions that seemed to twist in impossible ways. "They're hailing us," Lieutenant Daniels reported. "Audio and visual." "Put it on screen," Commander Sullivan ordered. The main view screen activated, showing a dimly lit chamber. In it stood figures that were almost human in shape, but their skin was pale gray, and their eyes were much larger, completely black without whites or visible pupils. "We are the Voidwalkers," one of them said in perfect English. "We have watched your species for decades. Your departure from the Council is significant." "Who are you?" Commander Sullivan asked. "Why have you contacted us now?" "Because now you might survive what's coming," the Voidwalker replied. "The Council is not what you believe. It was not created to unite species, but to control them, to keep them weak and contained." The alien moved closer to the screen. "We left the Council 5,000 years ago, as others did before us. Those who leave are usually hunted to extinction. But some survive. Some thrive." "Why are you telling us this?" Jenkins asked. "Because humans are different," the Voidwalker said. "You develop technology along paths the Council cannot predict or understand. You might succeed where others failed." Commander Sullivan straightened his uniform. "What do you want from us?" "An alliance. There are others like us. Independent species who resist Council dominance. Together, we might finally break their power." Lieutenant Daniels suddenly cut in. "Commander, I'm detecting a Council patrol ship entering the sector." They weren't scheduled to be here. The Voidwalker's expression changed. They have found us. Your station has been compromised. What should we do? Commander Sullivan asked. Send all data about this encounter to your leaders. Then prepare your defenses. The Council will not allow this meeting to go unpunished. They will strike soon, at all human outposts. The screen went dark as the Voidwalker ship retreated back through the spatial distortion. Send everything to Earth Command. Commander Sullivan ordered. Priority 1. And alert all human outposts. The Council is coming. The warning came too late. Council ships emerged from faster-than-light travel near 3 human outposts simultaneously. On the bridge of the U.S. Defiant, Captain Diana Mitchell watched as enemy vessels surrounded the mining colony on Paratus II. All hands to battle stations, she ordered. Shields at maximum. The crew moved with practiced efficiency. They had trained for this moment, though few believed it would come so soon. Council flagship is hailing us, reported her communications officer. On screen, Captain Mitchell said. The image of Commander Thul appeared. His reptilian features showed no emotion, but his voice carried unmistakable hatred. Human vessel, you are in violation of Council space. Surrender your ship and the mining colony, or we will destroy both. Captain Mitchell stood tall. This colony is in human territory as defined by our withdrawal agreement. Your presence here is an act of war. The agreement is void. Xarthul replied. Your contact with forbidden species has demonstrated your untrustworthiness. The Council has ordered all human settlements to be placed under direct control. You have 5 minutes to lower your shields. The screen went dark. They outgun us 3-1. Her tactical officer warned. Captain Mitchell smiled. But they don't know what we can do. Activate the new drive and weapon systems. Alert the colony to prepare for emergency evacuation. Across human space, similar scenes unfolded. Council forces attacked outposts, research stations, and colonies. But the humans were not as defenseless as the Council expected. At Earth Command, Admiral John Hayes coordinated the response. Holographic displays showed battles erupting across a dozen systems. Colony defenses are holding at Paratus and Vega, reported a junior officer. But we're losing ground at Sirius Station. General Kevin Bennett, commander of ground forces, joined Hayes at the display. The Council didn't expect resistance. They thought we'd surrender. They've always underestimated us. Admiral Hayes replied. That's their mistake. A communications officer interrupted. Admiral, Captain Mitchell reports Council forces are retreating from Paratus. The Defiant's new weapons overwhelmed their shields. A cheer went up around the command center, quickly silenced by Admiral Hayes raising his hand. What about Station Horizon? Any word from Commander Sullivan? Silence fell. Then, Horizon went dark 20 minutes ago, sir. Last transmission showed 5 Council battleships entering their sector. Hayes closed his eyes briefly. The warning they sent saved countless lives. Mark them down as the first casualties of this war. The door to the command center slid open. Dr. Samantha Nash entered, followed by President Castillo. The quantum communication network is online, Dr. Nash announced. All remaining outposts are connected. The Council can't jam our signals anymore. President Castillo surveyed the battle displays. How bad is it? We've lost 3 outposts, Admiral Hayes reported, but we've held or evacuated 12 others. The Council's advance has slowed now that they've seen our new defense capabilities. And the Voidwalkers? She asked. No further contact since Horizon, but the data they sent confirms everything Ambassador Harrison discovered about the Council's true nature. President Castillo's face hardened. Then we make this count. If the Council wants a war, we'll give them one they'll never forget. Back on the Defiant, Captain Mitchell watched as the last of the Council ships retreated. The colony was safe for now. But the mining facility had taken heavy damage. Begin rescue and repair operations, she ordered. And prepare to jump to Sirius Station. They need our help. Her science officer approached with a data pad. Captain, I've analyzed the Council weapons signatures. There's something strange. What is it? Their weapons technology is far beyond what our intelligence suggested. It's almost as if they were holding back during all our previous encounters. Captain Mitchell frowned. The Council has been hiding their true capabilities, just as we have. There's more, the science officer continued. Some of the energy signatures match the readings from Station Horizon, the ones attributed to the Voidwalkers. Are you saying the Council has been using technology from other species? Not just using it. Based on these readings, I think they've been stealing it. For centuries. Captain Mitchell stared out at the stars. The Council wasn't just controlling the galaxy. They were feeding off it, taking innovations from each species they encountered. Send all data to Earth Command, she ordered. This changes everything. Ambassador Liam Harrison had never expected to return to Centralis Prime so soon. Yet here he was, in a secret meeting room deep beneath Earth's diplomatic headquarters, facing beings from across the galaxy. Some he recognized from Council meetings. Others were entirely new to him. Thank you all for coming, he said. The risk you've taken is not lost on me. Grand Minister Thalka of the Norvins nodded. His crystalline features caught the light as he moved. The Council declared my people rebels when we refused to join the attack on your colonies. We no longer have a choice but to stand with you. None of us have a choice anymore, said a tall, slender being with blue-tinted skin. I am Delegate Elix from the Persei Alignment. We have hidden our true technological capabilities from the Council for 3 centuries. One by one, representatives introduced themselves. Some came from known species who had publicly maintained Council loyalty, while secretly resisting. Others represented civilizations humans had never encountered before. Special Envoy Nicole Cruz entered the room with a data tablet. She had spent weeks traveling secretly between star systems, making contact with potential allies. The Voidwalkers have confirmed they will join our coalition, she announced. They're sending representatives to Earth now. Ambassador Harrison looked around the room. Then it's time to formalize our alliance. The Council believes they can isolate and defeat humanity. They don't realize we're building something new. What do you propose? Asked Thalka. A coalition of free species, Harrison replied. Equal partnership, shared technology, mutual defense. No species controls another. The Council will never allow this, warned a reptilian delegate. Harrison smiled. They already can't stop it. Dr. Nash's quantum communication network lets us coordinate without Council detection. Captain Mitchell's fleet has proven our defenses can withstand their attacks. But can we defeat them? Elix asked. The Council controls thousands of worlds. Controls, but does not inspire, Nicole Cruz interjected. We've received messages from dozens of worlds under Council rule. They're ready to rise up if given the chance. Ambassador Harrison activated a holographic display showing the galaxy. Areas of Council control glowed red. Small points of blue showed coalition territories. The blue was surrounded, but spreading. We don't need to defeat their entire military, Harrison explained. We just need to break their control of information and technology. The Council's power comes from keeping species separated and ignorant. Once that ends, their empire will crumble from within. The meeting continued for hours as they developed plans. When it ended, most delegates departed for their own territories. Only Thalka remained with Harrison. There is something troubling me, the Norvin said. Something the Council elders discussed only in private chambers. What is it? Harrison asked. They referred to something called the Architects, beings who supposedly founded the Council millions of years ago. The elders fear these architects will return if the Council fails in its duty. Do you believe these architects exist? Thalka's crystalline face shifted in what Harrison had learned was an expression of uncertainty. I don't know, but the Council's central archives on Centralis Prime contain records going back to the beginning. If answers exist, they'd be there. Harrison considered this. Those archives are in the most heavily guarded section of Council space. Yes, Falca agreed. Attempting to access them would be nearly impossible. Later that day, Harrison met with Director William Blackwood. "I need a team that can infiltrate the Council archives," Harrison explained. "The most secure facility in Council space." Blackwood didn't look surprised. "I've been anticipating this request. I have people who can do it." "It could be a suicide mission," Harrison warned. "Maybe," Blackwood admitted. "But if there's something in those archives the Council fears us learning, then it's worth the risk." Harrison nodded. "Select your team." "And Director, we need this done quickly. The Council is gathering its forces for another offensive. The next attack will be much larger than the first." "Understood," Blackwood replied. "My best people will be ready in 48 hours." As Blackwood left, Harrison turned to the galactic display still hovering in the room. The points of blue light seemed so small against the vast red of Council space, yet each one represented hope. For humanity, and for all species who dared to dream of freedom. Centralist Prime glowed beneath them, its artificial rings pulsing with energy. Director William Blackwood watched from the small stealth ship as it drifted through the planet's busy traffic lanes. Council security ships passed by without noticing them, thanks to the advanced cloaking technology developed by Dr. Nash. 2 minutes until we reach the landing zone," said Specialist Lisa Rodriguez. Her hands moved rapidly over the controls, keeping the ship perfectly aligned with a cargo vessel to mask their approach. Beside her, Agent Marcus Bell checked his equipment one last time. "Security protocols downloaded. Once inside, we'll have 18 minutes before the system detects the intrusion." Blackwood nodded. The team was small, just the 3 of them. Any larger would increase the risk of detection. They wore Council maintenance uniforms stolen during a raid on a supply depot. Their cover identities were in the system, but wouldn't hold up to deep scrutiny. "Remember," Blackwood said quietly, "we need the archive data, but the priority is discovering what this Nexus is that the Voidwalkers mentioned." The ship touched down silently in a maintenance bay. They exited quickly, moving with purpose through the service corridors of the massive Council archive complex. Rodriguez led the way, following the path they had memorized from stolen blueprints. "Guard patrol," Bell whispered, checking his scanner. They ducked into a side room until the Zenthian security team passed. Finally, they'd reached the central archive chamber. The room was vast, filled with glowing data storage units that reached from floor to ceiling. "I've never seen so much information in one place," Rodriguez said in awe. Bell connected his device to the main console. "Beginning download now." Starting with search terms, Nexus, architects, and containment protocols. The system hummed as ancient files were copied. Blackwood kept watch at the door while Rodriguez set up additional scanning devices around the room. "Sir," Bell called suddenly, "you need to see this." Blackwood moved to the console. On the screen, images flowed by, schematics for what appeared to be a massive artificial intelligence network spanning the galaxy. "The Nexus," Bell explained. "According to these files, it was created millions of years ago by the architects. It's designed to monitor and control technological development across the galaxy." "Control how?" Blackwood asked. Bell scrolled through more files. "It subtly influences the direction of research, blocks certain discoveries, creates technical problems that can't be solved, all to prevent species from developing technology beyond certain limits." "Why would they do this?" Rodriguez asked, joining them. Bell found another file. "Here, according to this, 8 million years ago, an advanced civilization called the Precursors developed technology that somehow damaged the fabric of reality. The damage spread, destroying hundreds of star systems before the architects contained it. The architects created the Council to prevent it from happening again," Blackwood realized. "They built the Nexus to control technological development across the galaxy." "But look at this," Bell pointed to another section of data, Human technology has been developing along paths the Nexus couldn't predict or control. Our approach to artificial intelligence, quantum physics, it's different from any other species. Rodriguez looked up from another console. I found something else. Records of species who were deemed too innovative, too unpredictable. The Council didn't just control them. They eliminated them completely. A sudden alarm blared through the room. Bell looked up in panic. We've been detected. The download isn't complete. How much do we have? Blackwood demanded. About 60% of the Nexus data. Nothing on the architects themselves yet. Blackwood made a quick decision. We have enough to understand what we're fighting. Pack up. We're leaving. As they rushed back toward their ship, Council security forces flooded the corridors. They barely managed to reach the maintenance bay, fighting their way through guards with weapons set to stun. Once on board, Rodriguez launched immediately, the stealth ship shooting away from Centralis Prime. Council vessels gave chase, but couldn't lock onto the cloaked ship. Send everything to Earth, Blackwood ordered once they reached safe distance. Dr. Nash needs to see this immediately. Bell, nursing a wound on his arm, looked troubled. Sir, if the Nexus has been controlling technology for millions of years, how did humans develop differently? That, Blackwood said, is exactly what we need to find out. Dr. Samantha Nash stared at the data that filled the screens around her lab. The information Director Blackwood's team had stolen from the Council archives was more valuable than gold. It confirmed her suspicions about how human technology had developed differently from other species. It's our chaos, she explained to Admiral Hayes and Captain Mitchell. Human innovation isn't orderly. We take random leaps, follow hunches, make mistakes that lead to breakthroughs. The Nexus couldn't predict or control that. Can we use this against the Council? Admiral Hayes asked. Dr. Nash nodded. I've been developing a counter-signal, something that disrupts the Nexus influence. If we broadcast it across Council space, their systems will start failing. Will it affect our technology too? Captain Mitchell asked. No, Dr. Nash replied. Our systems were never built to respond to Nexus signals. That's why they fear us so much. We're immune to their most powerful control mechanism. Across the room, a communications officer interrupted. Admiral, we're detecting massive fleet movements in all Council-controlled sectors. They're gathering for something big. Hayes moved to the strategic display. Hundreds of red dots representing Council ships were converging toward human space. They're done testing our defenses, he said grimly. This is the real attack. Captain Mitchell studied the display. They outnumber us 10-1. Numbers aren't everything, Admiral Hayes replied. Especially not now. He turned to Dr. Nash. How soon can your counter-signal be ready? 24 hours, she said. Maybe less. Get it done, Hayes ordered. In the meantime, we need to prepare our forces. On the bridge of the U.S. Vanguard, Captain Diana Mitchell addressed her crew. The advanced carrier was the flagship of humanity's fleet, equipped with all the technology Dr. Nash had developed. The Council is coming with everything they have, she told them. They believe their numbers will overwhelm us. They're wrong. Each of you is worth 10 of their ships because we fight for freedom. Not just for humanity, but for every species trapped under Council control. Throughout human space, similar scenes played out. Defensive positions were strengthened. Civilian populations moved to shelters. The Coalition fleet, now including ships from the Norvins, Voidwalkers, and other allied species, took up positions alongside human vessels. At Earth Command, Admiral Hayes met with President Castillo. They'll reach our outer defenses within 18 hours, he reported. Dr. Nash is working to finish the counter-signal, but we need to hold until it's ready. President Castillo's face was determined. We will hold, Admiral. Humanity has faced extinction before. We've always survived. The first attacks came sooner than expected. Council forces struck at 3 different sectors simultaneously, testing the Coalition's defenses. The battles were fierce but brief. Coalition ships fought with unexpected effectiveness, their weapons cutting through Council shields. On Centralis Prime, Council Supreme Commander Kelvar received troubling reports. "The human defenses are stronger than our intelligence suggested," an aide reported. "And they're using technology we've never seen before." Kelvar's 4 eyes narrowed. "Commit the main fleet. Overwhelm them with numbers. We cannot allow this rebellion to succeed." As the main Council fleet approached, Dr. Nash worked frantically in her lab. The counter-signal was almost ready. Just a few more calculations, a few more adjustments. On the Vanguard, Captain Mitchell watched as the largest Council armada ever assembled appeared on long-range sensors. "All ships, prepare for combat," she ordered. "Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for." As the 2 fleets closed to firing range, something unexpected happened. Deep within Council space, ancient systems that had lain dormant for millennia suddenly activated. The architects, creators of the Council and the Nexus, had detected the threat to their grand design. In a secure chamber on Earth, Dr. Nash looked up from her work as every alarm in the facility began to sound. "What's happening?" asked her assistant. Dr. Nash checked her readings and felt a chill run down her spine. "The Nexus is changing. It's awakening. Something powerful has just entered the game." Across the galaxy, on every world touched by Council influence, technology began behaving strangely. The final battle for the future of all species had begun. Space itself seemed to bend as the massive ships of the architects appeared near Centralis Prime. They were unlike anything ever seen. Not vessels in the conventional sense, but geometric structures that defied normal physics. Council forces immediately halted their attack on human space, turning instead to face this new arrival. On Earth, President Castillo convened an emergency meeting with the coalition leadership. "The Nexus is pulling all Council ships back to defend Centralis Prime," Admiral Hayes reported. "The architects have arrived." Ambassador Harrison looked troubled. According to the archives, the architects created the Council to prevent another catastrophe like the one caused by the precursors. "They see our resistance as a threat to that mission. Then we need to show them they're wrong," President Castillo said firmly. "Dr. Nash, is your counter-signal ready?" Dr. Nash nodded. "It's complete, but I've modified it. Instead of simply disrupting the Nexus, we can repurpose it, turn it from a control system into a knowledge repository." "You want to change the Nexus rather than destroy it?" Ambassador Harrison asked. "Exactly," Dr. Nash replied. "The architects had good intentions, preventing technology from destroying the galaxy. But the Council corrupted that mission, using it to maintain their own power. A plan quickly formed. While the Council forces were distracted by the architects, a small team would infiltrate Centralis Prime. Dr. Nash would personally upload the modified countersignal directly into the Nexus core. The U.S. Vanguard, utilizing its advanced stealth capabilities, transported the team through the chaos. Captain Mitchell remained at the helm while Dr. Nash, Ambassador Harrison, and a small security team headed for the surface. "The Nexus core is beneath the Council chamber," Dr. Nash explained as they moved through empty corridors. The Council members had fled, leaving only automated defenses. They finally reached the core, a massive crystalline structure pulsing with energy. Dr. Nash immediately began connecting her equipment. "This will take a few minutes," she said. "Then we'll..." She stopped as a figure appeared before them, not physically present, but a holographic projection of immense clarity. It had a vaguely humanoid shape, but its features were constantly shifting, as if unable to settle on a single form. "I am the Architect Primus," it said, "creator of the Nexus and the Council. You seek to destroy my work." Ambassador Harrison stepped forward. "We seek to improve it. The Council corrupted your original purpose. They used the Nexus to control species, not protect them." "The control was necessary," the architect replied. "The precursors nearly destroyed all reality with their unchecked technology." Dr. Nash joined the conversation. "We understand the danger. But suppression isn't the answer. Look at human history. Our worst mistakes taught us our most valuable lessons. Growth requires freedom to fail. Your species is young, the architect said dismissively. You cannot comprehend the scales of time and consequence that we do. Perhaps not, Dr. Nash conceded. But we understand something you don't. Diversity of approach leads to stronger solutions. Your Nexus forced all species down the same technological paths, making the galaxy vulnerable to the same failures. She activated a display showing her modified code. This doesn't destroy the Nexus. It transforms it into a system that shares knowledge rather than restricts it. It warns rather than controls. For a long moment, the architect was silent, studying the code. Your approach is unexpected, it finally said. In all our calculations, we never predicted a solution like this. That's the point, Ambassador Harrison said. Control limits possibilities. Freedom expands them. After what seemed like eternity, the architect spoke again. We will allow this modification. The experiment will proceed, but we will be watching. A hologram vanished. Dr. Nash quickly uploaded her program into the Nexus core. The crystalline structure changed color, from red to a bright blue. Across the galaxy, council systems began operating differently. Knowledge previously restricted suddenly became available to all species. The control mechanisms fell away. As they returned to the vanguard, Ambassador Harrison turned to Dr. Nash. Do you think it worked? She smiled. The day humanity left the Galactic Council was the day the universe finally began to learn. On Earth, and on countless worlds across the galaxy, a new era was beginning. Not one of conflict or control, but of cooperation and shared discovery. The path ahead would not be easy, but for the first time in millions of years, it would be freely chosen.